The sun sets over the Colorado mountains. Darkness falls fast in these high places. A man stands silhouetted against the fading light. He is a miner, his face smudged with the day's hard labor. His shift is over. He hefts his lunch bucket, feeling its familiar weight. But tonight, it feels different. Heavier. He glances around, his eyes darting into the growing shadows. No one is watching. With a quick, practiced movement, he slips a dense gray rock inside. It is not just any rock, it is a chunk of high-grade silver ore. This single act, repeated in secret by countless men, has a name. They called it high grading. This is not a noble term. It is a word whispered among thieves. It describes the simple, desperate act of a worker stealing from his boss. In the silver camps of the American West, it was a silent epidemic, a crime as common as the cold mountain air, yet rarely spoken of in public. Tonight, we journey back to one of the wildest towns in history, Leadville, Colorado. A town built on a mountain of silver, where fortunes were made overnight, and where those same fortunes were stolen, piece by piece, by the very men who dug them from the earth. Before we descend into this dark and surprising story, please take a moment to give this video a thumbs up. Leadville was a magnet for dreamers. Leadville was a magnet for schemers. Its booming mines produced millions of dollars, drawing in a flood of people that the town could not support. Crime was rampant, the law was overwhelmed, and amid this chaos, a sophisticated ring of thieves began to operate. They were not simple opportunists stuffing ore into their lunch pails. This was an organized conspiracy. It involved a gang of calculating outlaws. It involved a trusted teamster who hauled the precious cargo. It involved a crooked assayer who could turn stolen rock into legitimate cash. Their story reveals the dark underbelly of the silver boom, a tale of immense greed and profound betrayal that has been buried for over a century. What you are about to hear is a story of how a town's greatest treasure became its greatest temptation. We will explore the methods of the high graders, from the simple theft of a lunch bucket to elaborate raids on stockpiles under the cover of night. We will see the risks they took, where getting caught could mean not just prison, but a swift, violent end at the end of a rope. This is the story of the outlaws who robbed Leadville's silver boom, a chapter of history where the line between a hard-working miner and a common criminal was as thin as a vein of silver in the rock. Stay with us. The mountain holds its secrets, but not forever. Stealing silver was a fundamentally different challenge than stealing gold. This economic reality shaped the nature of crime in Leadville. Gold is incredibly dense and valuable. A man could hide a small fortune in the heel of his boot. But silver was different. To make a meaningful profit from stolen silver, a thief couldn't just take a pebble. They needed to haul away pounds of it. The most common method was to hide a promising-looking rock in a lunch bucket. But even this was a gamble. An unusually heavy bucket could draw suspicion from a foreman. But getting the ore was only the beginning. The real challenge was selling it. A miner couldn't simply walk into his employer's assay office and sell a bag of high-grade ore without raising questions. That forced high graders into a clandestine network. Often that meant traveling to other towns. The journey itself was fraught with danger. Upon arrival, the thief had to find a fence, a crooked assayer. The crooked assayer held all the power. He knew the ore was stolen and offered far below market value. That vulnerability suggested something bigger: coordination. What if a group controlled theft, transportation, and the final assay? That transformed high grading into a sophisticated enterprise. A contemporary report described a ring, a gang of thieves, a local teamster, and a crooked assayer. By controlling the chain, they could steal vast quantities and launder ore into legitimate money with terrifying efficiency. At the heart of this conspiracy was a gang of thieves. These were not desperate miners. They were professionals. They planned and executed the raids, targeting the sprawling ore stockpiles that sat outside the mines. The leader of such a gang would have been a man of cunning and authority. He would have orchestrated the thefts with an almost military precision. He knew which mines had the richest ore, which guards could be bribed, which knights offered the best cover. He was the architect of a grand criminal design. Teamsters were the lifeblood of Leadville, hauling raw ore from the mines. They were a constant, trusted presence on the roads. A man driving an ore wagon was essentially invisible. The ring found a local teamster who was willing to betray that trust. To the outside world, he was just another hard-working driver. But in secret, he was the critical transportation link in the conspiracy. His participation transformed the gang's potential. They could now steal ore by the wagon load. The assayer was a figure of immense importance. His word was bond. When an assayer produced a certified report, that report was as good as money. The ring found an assayer who had no integrity. This man was the linchpin, their alchemist, the one who could magically turn their stolen goods into legitimate, untraceable profit. With the certificate in hand, the ore was no longer stolen property. The smelter, seeing the official report from a licensed assayer, would have no reason to be suspicious. They would purchase the ore at its full market value. The crooked assayer was perhaps the most culpable member of the ring. His crime was one of quiet deception, committed with a pen and a stamp. He betrayed his profession and the entire economic foundation of the town he served. As the weeks turned into months, the ring grew bolder. With wealth came confidence, and with confidence came arrogance. The sheer volume of silver they stole started to become noticeable. Mine superintendents compared notes and saw a pattern. The paper trail from the crooked assayer was the scheme's greatest weakness. Investigators noticed certificates for non-existent claims. Once they focused on the assayer, the conspiracy began to crumble. Faced with exposure and a long prison sentence, his loyalty evaporated. Under pressure, he gave up the names of the teamster and the gang leaders. One by one, they were rounded up, their river of stolen silver finally dammed. The conspirators, who dreamed of living like mining barons, likely ended their days in a state penitentiary, their stolen fortune confiscated. The silver boom eventually faded. The city that was once the second largest in Colorado shrank back into a quiet mountain town. Today, you can walk the streets of Leadville and feel the echoes of that wild era. In the shadows of those buildings, you can almost hear the whispers of the high graders. The story of the Silver Thieves is a crucial part of our shared past, a look into the dark heart of the American West. It shows us that progress is often a messy, violent, and morally complicated business. Thank you for joining us on this journey into Leadville's twisted history. If you enjoyed this story and want to uncover more hidden tales from the past, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. The past is full of secrets, and we are here to dig them up. We appreciate you watching. The mountain may be quiet now, but it never forgets.